What's up, gamers? Today we're gonna be reacting to another horror story animated. So without further ado, let's just get right into the video. Alright, this one comes from Wansi Entertainment. It's called True Home Invasion Horror Story.
This happened to me in 2017 when I was about 15 years old. The day was going all right. It was an average Saturday. I was just sitting on the couch in the living room, chatting with my friends online on my tablet. Besides me, only my parents were home because my older sister was hanging out with her friends. It was around 2:30 p.m. when someone knocked on the door. My mother went to check out who it was, and I looked over to the door, curious to see who it was as well. My mom looked through the peephole and she saw
What the hell? You get some one-eyed man and some random ass white dude? Why do they look like that?
two
Why do
men
they look so
outside.
creepy?
One of them was wearing a blue shirt and the other wearing a black jacket. They were complete strangers. None of us knew either of the men, and we weren't used to receiving any visitors, canvassers,
Let
or
me in
anything
your
like
house, I
that.
can touch
So
you.
since my mom didn't know them, she asked who they were, but neither of them answered that question. Instead, the man with the blue shirt said they needed to use the house. My mother obviously
Wow.
got creeped out by that
They
response,
needed to use
like
the
anyone
house is
would,
crazy.
and she asked what he meant by that. But the man just said that they needed to get in the house.
I
But
need
my
to get in
mother
your house
responded
right
that
now.
she was not letting them in.
I'm
and
coming
that they
inside your
needed to
house.
leave. The man wearing the black suddenly banged on the door and tried to force it open. At that moment, my mom screamed and I jumped off of the couch. I was completely startled and I was panicking, but also frozen in shock. There were so many things going through my head, and that's when my mom turned to me and shouted for me to call the police. The man
Yeah, come
hadn't
on,
stopped
dude.
banging on our door, and they started trying to kick it in.
Oh,
Thankfully, the
damn.
hinges on our door managed to hold it in place.
Yeah,
My father heard all the
supposedly.
noise and came running from his room.
Oh my
with
god,
his
he's got that
revolver
doll
in
around the
hand,
prop
yelling
gun
and
with him
asking,
too.
"What's going on?" But then the banging stopped,
It's
and
not
we
a
heard
real
the
gun,
men
look at
running away.
that.
My mother called the police. They arrived in 15 minutes. We explained what happened, but they said they couldn't do much immediately. None
Damn.
of us knew where they ran to or if they had any vehicle. So the cops couldn't do anything immediately, but they said they would see if they could find anything useful
So
in
you
a
get
few
those-
security cameras
so
around
you
the
can
area
get those
and
Ring
talk to
cameras.
potential witnesses. The rest of the day passed by and nothing strange happened.
Okay,
So
the
we
neighbors
thought that
didn't hear
everything
these
was
guys banging on
and
your
it
door?
really seemed to be until the next day. In the middle of the night on Sunday, I was in the living room playing some games on my laptop while voice chatting with a friend on Discord. We were on vacation, so we would play games all night. But then I heard some strange noises coming from outside. They sounded like footsteps. I told my friend I had to go check something and got up. Honestly, I both thought and hoped that it would be nothing. But just in case, I brought my baseball bat with me and went to check on the
Yeah,
door.
good job, bro.
As I was walking up to
Smart.
the door, someone unlocked it from the outside and started opening the door as if they simply had the key. I was paralyzed for a moment, and a man who was about my height but definitely larger than me walked into the house. He was dressed completely in black and had a mask over his face. He seemed surprised that I was there and he started reaching into his back pocket. It took less than a second for my heart to start pounding out of pure terror. My first instinct was to hit the man on the head with the baseball bat with all my strength,
damn.
and I did it. It all happened in a second. I
Oh,
struck
this guy
him in
took a chunk out of his teeth as well. Holy crap.
the temple with the bat, and he staggered to the wall. Then, with the adrenaline still rushing through my body, I raised the bat over my head and swung it down at him again, and hit the top of his head this time. And he
Wait,
fell
what the
to
hell? Wait, why does this look like a metal bat? This does not look like the same bat. Like, this is the bat right now. And this is the bat before. Like, what's going on here?
and he fell to the ground and didn't get up anymore.
Oh, damn.
But when I saw that right behind him there
Throwing
were two
ham on his
other men.
ass.
One of them had just pulled out a gun and pointed at me. I couldn't see the gun clearly as it was sort of dark over there, but it was obvious from his stance that he had a gun pointed at me. I confirmed it after I heard him pulling the slide on the gun and immediately screamed
he's
as
dead.
loud as I could and tried to get out of the way. But the man fired the gun and the bullet barely missed my head. But the flash from the blast and the loud bang were so close to my face that I got dazed. I fell on my back, and my
Wait, the guy didn't shoot him? This guy got some dog shit aim. Holy crap. The guy was like 2 feet away from him, and he didn't kill him? Like, not that I want him to die, but that guy got some dog shit aim. Holy crap.
and the loud bang were so close to my face that I got dazed. I fell on my back, and my vision was blurry and my ears were ringing. I was desperately screaming for help and crawling away as fast as I could. I could hear one of the men telling the other to shoot me again already. I thought I was going to die, but I managed to bring myself to my feet and run around the corner and out of their view.
Oh, wow.
Everyone in the house had woken up to the gunshot and my screaming. and my father rushed in with his gun. As soon as he saw the men who broke in, he began shooting at them both. I think a bullet hit one of them because he screamed out before I heard
Oh, with the $1 prop gun that he has?
shots, and they ran away.
Nice.
They got into a blue car and tried to speed away from our home. My father shot at them again. It didn't hit them, but the bullets hit their car. As soon as we turned on all the lights, we saw the man that I hit with the metal bat was twitching on the floor, and there was a puddle of blood under the wounds in his head. My mother comforted me and told my sister to call the police, but when she was about to, there were already multiple police cars.
Wait, now the sister's here? I thought she wasn't here. I thought she was out with her friends. What the hell's going on here?
Coming. The friend who was talking to me on Discord heard everything and called the police, and many neighbors did the same due to the gunshots. Because the police arrived so soon, they managed to track down the men who ran away and arrest them both. The man I wounded got taken to the hospital, but I never got any news about what happened to him later. And frankly, I don't want to. Later, I found out that they were already wanted for breaking and entering homes, murdering residents, and then stealing everything of value. And those wretches probably plan to do the same in my house. I hope that justice is served now that these men are behind bars, and it still eats away at me sometimes when I think about it. Had I not been awake and gotten in their way, those men would have done horrible things to my family and me. I'm glad that we are all okay today.
Ew, why did they look like that? What the hell?
Like that ever
why do you
again.
gotta show me their faces like that? Alright, so the next one comes from Wanted Entertainment again, and it's called Soul.
When I was 18, I was very interested in the human soul, so I was always searching on the internet about it. And then one day, I discovered that there was a meeting discussing the human soul, and I decided to go to that meeting with my friend Sean. But when we arrived at the meeting place, there were only 3 people, me, Sean, and the meeting leader. I was a little disappointed, but the meeting leader seemed like a very knowledgeable person. He began to explain to us information about the soul. He said,
"Human beings each have a soul, but in fact, they can be divided into 2, or the souls of 2 people can merge into 1. In other words,
looks like
you
the
and I can
creepiest
become
man I've
one.
ever seen in my life.
All
I'm not gonna lie.
souls on Earth
Looks
are
like the
ultimately
nerdy,
one."
I was listening to his
creepy
story
loner
with
at
curious
school.
eyes, but when I looked at Sean, he didn't look very good. Sean whispered to me,
"This person seems a little strange. Let's just go home."
but
Yeah,
I was
listen to
having
Sean.
fun, so I told him to stay a little longer. We chatted with the group leader for a while, and eventually I started thinking about going home. Then the meeting leader told us not to go. Sean and I said we had to go and got up to leave. The meeting leader suddenly
Ew, why does he look like that? Why is he smiling like that?
raised his hands to the sky and looked at Sean while muttering. His eyes were murderous.
Oh, damn.
He was holding something that looked like a red jewel in his hand.
"Sean, run!"
I screamed.
Sean,
At
run,
that time,
get
the
out.
meeting leader hit Sean on the head with a red gem.
Holy
and Sean
shit,
lost
can we get a
consciousness.
replay on that?
Then the meeting leader hit Sean on the head with a red
Damn.
gem, and Sean lost
Guy beat the
consciousness.
shit out of him with
Then
that
he took
gem.
a glass bottle out of his pocket and held it to Sean's mouth. Then he said,
"God, I will take this soul. I will eat it with gratitude."
then
What
he
the
lifted the
hell?
bottle to his mouth, took a breath of air, closed the
Oh, that
lid,
guy got high. He's like, oh yeah, souls. Oh yeah.
and put it back in his pocket. I didn't know if Sean was alive or dead, and I was so scared that my whole body
Yeah,
was
you
shaking,
should've listened to Sean,
and I
man.
had a hard time keeping my balance. The meeting leader looked at me and said,
"I'll give you a chance. If you say you'll give me your soul, I can take your soul away without having to break your head. Now what do we want to do?"
he took the glass bottle out of his other pocket and opened
That basically he's just saying, you're gonna die either way. Tell me the way that you want to die. Like this
the
guy's
lid.
about to
I was
destroy you.
terrified, but I yelled at him.
"My head is harder than a stone, and it will never break."
He then said to me,
Oh my, I tried to be nice, but I ended up having to make a hole again.
he held out a glass bottle and slowly approached me. The sound of my heartbeat was so loud in my ears that it almost sounded like thunder. At that moment, he again raised his hand holding the red gem upward and tried to hit me. So I tackled him with
Oh,
all my
damn.
strength and knocked him to the floor. We started fighting, rolling around
Yeah,
on
beat
the
the shit
floor,
out of him.
and then I snatched the glass bottle from his hand and hit him on the head with it. The bottle shattered and he
Oh.
screamed, clutching his head.
"No! This is your house!"
He cried and picked up the broken bottle with his bare hands.
my
I helped
souls.
Sean up and we ran away. Fortunately, Sean came to his senses slightly. Then the meeting leader shouted,
"Oh, you're still alive! My sons, where are you going? There is eternal rest in me!"
I ran outside and called the police. The leader was arrested and police found dozens of bottles on display in his basement. The bottles had small pictures of people attached to them. When the police asked what the bottles were, he smiled and said,
"These are the souls I have absorbed so far. They are in my world now, and they will live within me forever."
He listed dozens of people's names. I took Sean to the hospital, and luckily he recovered. If I hadn't escaped LaShawn then, I can't imagine what would have happened
yeah, he's
to
getting
us.
okay. Yeah, sniffing that bottle is crazy. That guy's horny for some souls. Alright, since that one was pretty short, we're gonna watch one more, and it's called The True Clown Horror Story. I've always really hated clowns when I was growing up, but now I've come to a sense to it, so let's see how scary this is.
My name is Bailey. I'm 5'2" and have brown hair and brown eyes. This story happened when I was 13. It was a Saturday morning, and I asked my mother if I could have a sleepover with my best friend May. May had black hair with brown eyes and was also around 5'2". She hesitated, thinking about all the clowns that had been loose and roaming around the neighborhood. It took a while, but in the end, she said yes. I called May and let her know that she could come around 7 p.m. Later that evening, May came over, and we jumped on the couch and started watching Wednesday Entertainment. About 20 minutes
Hey, they're watching Wednesday Entertainment.
later, my mom went to the grocery store with my little sister and brother, leaving us home alone. We started getting hungry and decided to order a pizza. Around 30 minutes after we ordered, the doorbell rang. While May went to get the money, I went ahead and opened the door. Behind the door was a tall man, I would guess around 6'1", who was wearing a red t-shirt and black pants. He stared down at me and handed me the pizza. He then asked me,
"Where are your parents?"
Me
Oh, that is
being
not the pizza
stupid,
delivery
I
man.
told him that they weren't home at the moment.
Oh my god. First the rule, never say that you're home alone. She's just asking to get kidnapped now. Like, oh my god.
He then gave a creepy grin, and thankfully, that's when May came with the money. I think she could tell that I was feeling uncomfortable, so she
Yeah,
handed him the
that'd be
money
May.
and closed the door. We ate, and then moved to my room after finishing the episode, and hung out for about an hour before we decided to go to bed. Around 10 o'clock, I went downstairs to get some water. As I was drinking my water, I heard some shuffling coming from my pantry. I was confused as everyone else was sleeping, and I didn't have any pets that could have made that noise.
Shit.
I ran upstairs to get my mom when I saw something that I'll never forget. My mom was lying on the floor, unconscious.
Oh,
At
yeah.
this point, I
Get
was
the hell out
starting
of
to
there.
panic. I
Get
went
the
back to
hell
my
out of
bedroom and
there.
locked the door. I then woke up May and started filing her in on what was going on when we heard a knock on the door. The knocks turned into banging, to the point where whatever it was about to break down the door. We quietly jumped out the window and landed in the bushes. I then dialed
Smart.
911 and told them someone was in my house. The cops came about 5 minutes later and started searching the house. Shortly after they came in, they came out
What
with a
the hell?
clown. Paramedics also came out with my mom and rushed her to the hospital. Luckily, she wasn't dead, just unconscious. As the police were putting the clown in the car, he turned to look at us and then
Ew! Why would you do that? Why would you shoot at this guy's face, man? This guy's looking like the Joker over here.
gave us a very
Like,
creepy
what the
grin.
hell?
The next morning, an officer came knocking at our door. The officer told us that there had been a clown posing as a pizza delivery man and going to people's houses. The disturbing part
Yeah,
about
I
this
knew
whole
it. I knew it that was not the pizza delivery man. I knew it.
incident was when the police told us they found a pizza box under the bed with a sharp knife hidden in it. He
Yeah.
was planning to kill us in our sleep.
Yeah, look at this
We
dude.
were so glad to be safe.
That's
and
not
my
even the
mom-
same clown. Who the hell is this guy?
mom had
It's
also
not even the
returned
same
from
clown.
hospital. To this day, I still wonder what would have happened if I didn't
guy
go
looking
downstairs
like-
to get water that night.
Got that Minecraft Steve head. Like, all right, that's gonna wrap up today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.